is we were talking with Brent, and too often you go to a conference and you lose half of it on the way home because you haven't had a chance to synthesize.
Yes.
So we suggested let's have a section just for reflection. So tomorrow morning we're going to have what did we get from the conference type of thing.
That's great. And
this is the purpose.
We're actually traveling back together on the airplane, and we are going to synthesize, because we work together, and take away our main points about how our business can pull a lot of this together and we can share.
Now, what do you think? Okay, Jillian, Shannon, you've been to a lot of sessions. I haven't been to that many actually, but I want to ask you, what sort of takeaways do you have from what you saw here? It can be small, large, whatever, but what was exciting? What's new?
I have gotten very, very high-level technical content, and I've also gotten some great just handouts and checklists that are very low-tech that were exactly what I needed. So I went to a great session in the expo with a gal from Kaplan who has a phenomenal checklist on
Brenda Suger. We had lunch together. Known her
evaluating
for 12 years.
evaluating the instructional design of courses. Loved that because she's just put everything together that you know, and it's all evidence-based.
Yep.
Just got out of a great session on Creative Commons and licensing and learned tons. Some of the things I was doing right, some I wasn't doing right, but now I know how to better monitor myself and apply attributes.
Okay, Shannon, you got other things?
Well, I have probably 15 pages of notes. My brain is full. I had to lay down for a half an hour yesterday because there's so much information, great information. I'm scheduling on Monday an hour to debrief everything, maybe.
So, Ellen, I have two questions sort of about DevLearn stuff. And the first is, what sort of takeaways, anything exciting? It could be a small thing, a big thing, whatever, but have you found anything here that going to sort of change your life?
I've noticed that the focus on creating really good interactive learning content is starting to migrate into creating really great immersive, engaging experience. And I think that's huge.
Boy, that is.
That's a big shift. Not so much in terms of our thinking about it, but in terms of the implementation. And so the one thing I'm finding is that people are still talking the big ideas on where this is going to go, but I'm starting to see a lot more interest and concern and focus on not just talking the talk, but walking the talk. That's been huge.
That is immense. Well, let me ask a follow-up, which
Sure.
May just be the next sentence on this one, but what's missing? I mean, what aren't people talking about? What should they talk about next year?
Well, Jay, you know that as I have started diving into more of the business of e-learning, that I find myself really, really aware that our ability to make business cases for the things that we're doing is becoming really key. And one can't think about creating experience and budgeting for experience if we can't come up with better ways of getting the support, the budgetary support, which comes from having a little bit deeper analysis than just saying it's because we must or because we really need to. Really needing to without some type of impact assessment, it's hard to be persuasive. So I think that for folks like us who really believe in the ideals of much of what we're doing, being able to be more strategic. I know we've always talked about being able to make the case. I don't know that we'll be able to do the things that we want to do and control our activities with it if we as an industry and as a practice base don't start getting a lot more articulate and making our cases for these things.
Focus so much on the idea of learning architectures because I think sometimes we can get over-seduced by the gadgets and the gizmos, and that what is suitable for one organization isn't suitable for another. So what we need is people who can stand back and look objectively at every individual client situation and come up with something which draws upon the new as well as the traditional, but in a way that's really right for that population.
Focus is more on what hasn't changed and what can come across, even though this is more technology based. The relationship with people, the focus on people and how people learn. It doesn't change the tools that they're used. And the importance of relationships, like Terrence was talking about, with the vendors. It's those relationships with people, even though it might be mediated through technology. We're still humans and things don't change, and we have to talk to each other and find ways to communicate. And so for me, what I've really taken away is that the basics of communication and clarity and making relationships are more important than ever, really.
Yeah.
It reinforced the fact that human beings have to curate, that no matter how good the tools are,
Yeah.
that it's human beings that make sense of what's important, how to categorize, how to put things in context, how to determine what key pieces of information are important, because the information itself is so overwhelming that we can't make sense of it all.
Yeah.
We can't determine what key pieces of information. I was actually, for both of you, I couldn't get on the internet, and so I used my cell phone.
Yes.
And I was using both of the things that you were tweeting, and I was just retweeting, and I was retweeting mostly what you guys were retweeting, because you were tweeting the key things he was saying, and so I was curating what you were saying.
And at the beginning, I hadn't had my caffeine and my brain wasn't working, so I was retweeting. I was just going through, the Twitter stream, just retweeting the key points because my fingers just.
But you were
weren't
saying
moving.
it really well.
And well, I got warmed up.
Yeah, you did.
My problem now is going back and figuring out, here's my to-do list for my business, here's what I need to be able to execute for client A, client B, client C. So I almost end up with like 10 to-do lists based on where I'm going to use the information. Our problem is that we start a huge project for a new client on Monday. And I'm traveling out of the country at the end of the week. So the only thing missing is some downtime. We were saying at lunch, a quiet room. It's so loud. A quiet room where you can just think for a minute so you don't actually have to go back through the hotel up to your room. That's the only thing missing.
Okay, e-learning guild people, take note. Let's do that. Maybe.
Hi, I'm Ben Betts. I'm from the University of Warwick, and I'm here at DevLearn. Something I found really good. I'm being quite positive about the emergence of mobile and social. Definitely, social's a clear theme, but mobile more so, and the move of things to multiple sources and being device agnostic. There's a clear feeling here that that's the way forward, and I think it is too. What I've found perhaps missing. Perhaps we've got too much focus on the tools. Perhaps we're too focused around courses instead of campaigns, and I'd like to see maybe a bit of a shift out of that course paradigm in the next few months.
What?